What is going on, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? The ACMG's Gamer here. I just wanted to start off the video by saying thank you for 100 subs. We're actually at 101 right now. That means hopefully there's at least one out of those 100 people that actually will watch my daily content when I'm not covering the day before. But it wouldn't be a 100 subscriber special without content from the day before. There is a Russian website that uploaded an article covering the day before, and apparently three developers, former anonymous developers, and what they had to say about the game in general. This to me is kind of like the key piece of evidence. If you haven't followed anything or don't know anything about why the day before is fake and is going to fail, or any of the controversy, this is kind of a rounded article that kind of solves any doubts of there being a possibility. We're going to read a majority of the article. It's going to be a bit of a longer video. I will leave a link down in the description down below to the original article for you to read the thing in its entirety without my input if you don't want my input. But I'm here to basically say, let's get into it and let's get started. So, the editors of 3D News decided to figure out what is happening with the promising MMO shooter in the open world the day before, which has been surrounded by solid negativity lately. To do this, we got in touch with several anonymous sources who wish to remain anonymous, who have information about the project itself and its production. Less than a month and a half before release on January 25th, Fantastic announced an 8-month proponent and loss of the day before from Steam due to strange trademark issues, but already on February 2nd, they published a 10-minute gameplay video due to copyright infringement. It was blocked on the trademark. I also covered this on my channel that gameplay trailer is now not available on their official YouTube channel, supposedly because of the trademark, but we don't know if they just deleted it from that specific channel. The video failed to impress the public and even made some question the existence of the day before as such. Later, suspicions of copying Call of Duty and The Last of Us trailers were added to this. The developers responded evasively to criticism. They promised to help small studios fight fakes. It wasn't just The Last of Us and Call of Duty. There was a straight-up asset that was ripped out of an asset pack, and it looked just like the gas station in Life is Strange. The gameplay 10-minute video that they are talking about, the very beginning of the video is ripped straight from, I think it's the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Zombies Reveal trailer. So there are multiple games that they are literally copying scene for scene from their game trailers to hype it up or to make it look like something is going to be good. So Life in Plastic, it's fantastic. All three of our sources said that newcomers go through some crash before they get on the day before. Remember, this article was originally written in Russian. That's probably some crap or some, I can't say that other word. Already at the introductory briefing, new employees are introduced to the concept of volunteering. Read more about it here, which according to our sources in the understanding of Fantastic Management means free overtime. Working hours are not specified in the contract so that claims cannot be made later. Overtime at Fantastic applies not only to ordinary employees but also to department heads on rare weekends for frontline employees. For example, the lead developers were still working on prop night and crunching a lot more. The authorities are aware of dissatisfaction and are generous with promises, but they always find a reason for processing. There is an emergency when suddenly everyone is needed, a new sponsor appears, or an opportunity is unexpectedly announced for which you need to work a little more 7 days a week until late at night. So that's an image from Prop Hunt, an example of a game that came out before the day before, and I think it lasted 1 or 2 years, and then they just dropped the project altogether. A volunteer at Fantastic, they are criticized behind their backs and may even be fired. Oh, sorry. Those who do not volunteer are criticized. This sounds a lot like Ubisoft to me, where, or sorry, not Ubisoft, but also Naughty Dog, where in crunch time, they say overtime or crunch time is not specifically a thing you have to do, but if you don't do it, you're criticized and you're behind on your work compared to everybody else. One source claims that staff turnover at Fantastic is high. Layoffs, including scandalous ones, are tried to be instantly hushed up, and you can lose your place in the studio even for the mere thought of a part-time job. The specialists who prepared newcomers to work on the day before have passed the baton, quit one by one. Judging by reports from our sources, the mood in the Day Before team is not the most pleasant. Morale is at zero. An atmosphere of hopelessness and despair is hovering. Despite the fact that until very recently the release was announced for March 1st, the development of the game is still in complete chaos. All three informants see the main problem in the lack of clear planning and incompetence of the top Fantastic in all aspects. Lack of clear planning and incompetence in all aspects. Okay. The Day Before trademark confusion is not a cover for the transfer, but an example of inept management on the part of the studio's management. Edward and Eisen, I'm not even going to pronounce that, make many key and minor decisions based solely on their own conclusions and not on expert advice, analytics, or specific indicator. Their own conclusions and not on expert advice, analytics, or specific indicators. Much of the development of the Day Before depends on the mood of the brothers themselves. That's not good. Decisions made yesterday can be canceled in the evening of the current day, and the whole course of development can turn around from this. One of the sources describes their brothers' methodology. This applies to the work done by specific employees, which the next day can go under the knife with the wording, yes, stupidly. Less than 2 weeks before the delivery of an important build, the team was told to introduce new mechanics into the game, despite the fact, due to the fragility of the Day Before code, this action threatened to break everything that was set up for the build, and tear them away from urgent tasks of some of the other employees. Due to the whims of management, workers have to do things as soon as possible, and when the result does not suit the brothers, they begin to get angry, raise their voice, or use foul language, forgetting that they themselves instructed the employees to do what they told them. First of all, ordinary employees suffer from all of this. As for the recent borrowings of Call of Duty and The Last of Us, the Day Before is really created with an eye on Western blockbusters. Do it like they do is one of the frequent requests of the brothers to the team. The brothers agree to proposals from the outside only if there is supporting material in other AAA games. The mouthpiece of the views of the brothers in the Day Before team are game designers who combine their core duties with project management in their areas. Control over ordinary employees instead of answering their questions, why do this? They refer to the decisions of the authorities and testing the game. In response to the question of where Fantastic got the money for such an ambitious game, a source told 3D News that in addition to marketing partnerships, like the one with Nvidia, with finances for the development of the Day Before, the brothers are helped by their quote-unquote friends and Mytona, which is also headed by the two brothers from... I'm not going to pronounce that. By the way, Fantastic agreed with Nvidia to hold an extremely important closed playtest for the Day Before on March 1st, which will decide the future of cooperation. If successful, Nvidia will help, quote, restore the reputation, unquote, of the game. No proper testing has been done so far. The good news from our conversation with sources is that at least the 40-second video or vertical slice and 10-minute videos of the Day Before published by Fantastic at the beginning of the month are quite real. Another thing is that they do not show anything significant. According to informants, most of the elements and mechanics that were shown earlier were made specifically for trailers and not the game itself, while the direct assembly of the Day Before into something solid started only at the end of 2021 before the release of Prop Night or early 2022. So they're saying that the gameplay, quote-unquote, The 10 minutes in the vertical slice are real. But if I'm reading this correctly, to me, they're saying yes, they're real, but there are elements either in the game that they showed that aren't really there, or they're saying that the previous elements that were promised in the game are not going to be in the game. So I don't know. So they're saying that the slices of the builds of the game are definitely real, but at the same time, those slices of the games aren't showing us anything that they had promised. Furthermore, one of our informants reports that Fantastic Management is not thinking about adding anything other than zombies, players, and vendors to the day before. A hired screenwriter, for example, only dealt with lines for merchants. The quest system was supposedly once written, but there's not a single hint of it either in the code or in the game itself. The whistleblower warns that Fantastic risks bringing even more negativity to the day before discussions. The studio wants to release the game in its raw form and bring it to the proper level of quality with patches only after the release. Quote, I strongly do not recommend buying this, unquote. That has huge implications. For anybody that said or has doubted the controversy surrounding this game, here's a whistleblower from the company saying that, yeah, the game exists, but what we've seen is basically it, and trying to add stuff breaks the code. And they're saying that they want to release the game in its raw form and then go and patch it afterwards. Here's the issue with that. We don't know what the raw form of gameplay is. If the raw form of gameplay is the 10-minute gameplay trailer that they released, so many people are going to be mad and upset if they end up going to buy it and that's all they get. There's not even a guarantee of any of the features beyond what we've seen that they have promised before but we have yet to see. So, if really all you're going to get is the 10-minute gameplay trailer, like that's the whole thing, there's going to definitely be some very, very upset people. Announced at the end of January, the postponement of the day before to November 10th, the source says, will not help matters. In its current form, when everything works on crutches, the game will take about a year to develop all the necessary mechanics. About the same amount should be spent on polishing content and gameplay. So they're saying that it should take a year, I guess, which would be about the 8 months, to do the base work, and then they would need another year to add in any additional mechanics, not necessarily including the ones that they promised. Did I read that last part? Oh, no. Time alone, however, cannot save the day before. They need to redesign the entire system of work. All the existing code now, it only complicates the life of the team. Stop reworking, or at least start paying for overtime, and change the approach to management. In other words, the day before still has a chance to become a really good game, but the efforts of ordinary employees are undermined by the brothers who lead the development ship from side to side and do not let it get on any particular course. The day before is being created primarily for PC due to trademark issues. The Steam page is still unavailable, which is expected on November 10th this year, as well as for PS5, Xbox Series X and S. Fantastic promises Unreal Engine graphics, Unreal Engine Graphics 5, ray traced reflections, and support for DLSS 3 scaling. So there is a source linked into the description there. I will link a link to the description down below. So to me, this is kind of an article that addresses all of the issues, all of the random stuff, and even goes further in my mind as to why people should not be buying this game. It's not a good idea to have a company where your owners are basically saying, hey, I want this or this done, and then go, never mind, I don't want that. And you scrap all that hard work and you have to rework the code or whatever. So to me, this is looking like it's not going to be that very good. I have been covering the day before as much as I can, with at least probably 1 or 2 videos a week. I'm hoping that at least this week we can all rest without having or creating this game, creating more drama over the channels. But as far as that goes, I mean that's all that I can tell. But thank you guys for watching this video. I just uploaded a previous video that slightly described Starfield, an update for Starfield. Go check out that. I'm also looking to cover future Starfield updates as well as the day before. And Jedi Fallen Jedi Fallen Order Survivor, whatever it's called, the sequel, will be releasing here in April. And I just want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Keep up with my coverage. Peace.